I'm live. Okay. Can anybody see me? Rotate device. Okay. Rotate device. Live chat. Okay. I'm on the backup radios now, is where I'm at with my cell phone. And see, this says I'm live. I bet everybody is looking at the other one. Okay.
I can't even. Okay, wait a minute.
She's trying to pull me up on her iPad and can't do it.
No. Your
Uh,
new one is not even there that you just did.
okay, yeah. See, here's Michael Machos and N17 Kilo Alpha. Guys, I am so sorry. This is
So somebody got on it
oh yeah, I got about half dozen people already.
on the
Uh,
new one.
on the new one. Yeah,
So
I'm on the
why?
backup radio, guys. Here. My, I brought my brain when I got in trouble. She's trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get on it so I can help you follow the chat and help you answer questions, but it's not even showing up on my
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's not even showing up. The problem I'm having is, I'm starting the software here and I see myself on the software, but I don't think it's talking to YouTube is the problem. Let's see. Oh, hi from Bolivia. Hey, good to see you guys. You guys are having a party. That's great. I could see when I went over to YouTube, everybody was talking. I thought, well, these guys don't need me. They're all connected now.
Oh, you got 56 people now.
Okay, I'll rotate my device. Let's see what happens. Okay, so what did I mess up the screen when I rotated my phone?
Yes, you are now sideways.
Oh, go back like that. Okay. See, I can't put it on
There
my.
you go.
Uh,
Yeah, you're
my
not gonna be able to go landscape for some reason.
yeah, I can't, and everybody's coming over. Okay.
So do you have the chat?
Yeah, it's going by pretty fast. Hey, there's somebody from Chesterfield. Okay, let me
Say
see.
hi to Michael's 7-year-old Blake.
Hey, Blake, how you doing, man? Are you going to be a pilot one day? It's a cool job. It's a lot of fun. I think you'd like it. Yep. Okay. Third time lucky on the streaming.
He's
Uh,
raised about before you.
but did any? I guess nobody saw me. I mean, I think
Okay.
somebody saw the text I put in.
I shall leave you now.
Okay. Well, I think I still need some help. I'm having
What
trouble.
do you got it?
Okay, I'll get it. I got it.
And Haley's about to come in here and join
Oh
you.
yeah, Haley wanted to say hi. There's Haley. Yeah. Okay. Now my question is though, see, my whole screen is covered with comments, covering everything. Is that the way it is there also?
No, 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 no.
Oh, it looks okay. It looks good. Hmm. All right, guys. Before I do this again, I promise I'll get this worked out. It's not an intuitive thing setting up live stream like that. It really is a challenge, and I've kind of struggled with it. It just seems like you have to have the extra software, and then they got to communicate with each other, and everything's got to be right, because you got a different camera, you got a different microphone, all this. But those are my issues. Enough of that whining. It's time for that to stop.
So you have all your comments. You don't need me to read them.
Well, they periodically disappear. Oops, they just came back.
Okay.
See, there's Macro from Portugal. Good to see you. Tim Mac.
Marco.
Yeah.
Marco, not macro.
Oh no, it says Marco B. Is that not what I said? Sorry, Marco.
You called it macro.
Okay. See. Okay. I'm suffering from vertical camera syndrome, but I found out I get a headache when I lay over like that. So we're gonna bring it back up. Is what we're gonna do.
Okay, you're sideways again, love.
I turned it back. I turned it back.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Detroit. Oh, lots of people here. And the Bahamas. Hey, Ace, I almost went to the Bahamas this week, but it got canceled. Yep. Almost went to Tampa to get the Caravan. That got canceled. Everything's being shifted around. Oh, wait. Somebody asked about the external wire, and then all the comments disappeared again. I think, the external wire connecting from the tail to the bottom of the airplane is the HF antenna, is what that
All right,
is.
hey, let's get out of here. You guys
Yeah.
get here in a minute.
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Adios.
Adios.
Okay. There's Naples, Florida. We haven't been to Naples in a long time. Yeah. For those of you guys, people who just popped up here, I normally have a much better picture. I'm using my phone because I had a problem with my software and just could not get everything to work. So I made a emergency command decision to shift to the backup comms here, and we're flying on the standby gyro also. Hopefully, it's not jiggling around too much. Okay, that's why I used the OBS from Steam Labs. Uh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think the problem is me though, Tim. I think in my ignorance, I'm just not doing it correctly. Uh, Driver flight to DSM. Whoops, it disappeared. I've probably heard you when job shadowing. Um, DSM, it's been a while. I have been there, but it's been a long time. Well, thank you. Appreciate that about Easter. It's beautiful here. Uh, I mowed the lawn today. We've been getting so much rain, and it just uh, spring is coming late, very late. Where can you go with a commercial multi right out of flight school? North Perry Airport, Florida. Okay, Seth, that a lot of people have that issue. You come right out, probably got a flight instructor certificate, fresh commercial, uh, low time. You got to build the time, and if you're not military, uh, most people build that time instructing as a CFI. The other option is to. Oh, hello, Helen.
Ellen.
Ellen. Oh, I'm sorry, Ellen. Whose wife? Oh, my wife just opened the door and came in to say hello to Ellen. I'm sorry I missed the message, Ellen, but hello. Yeah, that's tough because if you're not going to instruct, you got to be really lucky and get on with a flight department. Maybe a charter department. A good charter department tends to be very busy, build a lot of good time fast. Then there's the option of power line patrol, pipeline patrol, stuff like that. Waterway patrol. Corps of Engineer does water line patrol, waterway patrols. What else is there? Those are the ones that come to mind. Basically. Oh, skydiving operations also. They use pilots. Those tend to be weekend type jobs. Lots of loops. Fill up the plane, go up, drop them, come back. Fill it up, go up, drop them, come back. All day long. That type of thing. Crop duster, yeah, but you got to have some tail dragger experience for that because unfortunately I never got any tail dragger experience. One of my failings there, it's a lacking. Cargo, that's another good one. If you can get a job with one of these companies flying a feeder operation for cargo, that's great. And there are even some, like for a while, I worked for one that flew 210s, and they would start off with low time guys. And I started off doing it because I needed a job, and it was immediate money every night. Bam, bam, bam. You got paid for the trip. Mountain Air Cargo, yep, that's true. I go to flight safety twice a year. But the reason I'm doing that is I'm doing the Citation Excel, and then I'll do the M2, then the Excel. So I'm doing the Excel once a year, M2 once a year. Now the M2's sold, it's gone now, just left. So that will be replaced with something else, and I'll start doing another airplane. Oh, that guys, I really appreciate this because you're putting up some good info on getting jobs to build time, and the person that asked about that, I'm sure really appreciates it. Yeah. I wish I could find a good book on live streaming on how to actually set it up because there's so much potential here and I want to take advantage of it because I want to be able to help, you folks that are having questions in your flight training, as you're trying to find a job, new to the industry and stuff like that. I know if you don't, in a small airport, you may not be getting the information that you feel like you really need. Have I ever wanted to fly a commercial aircraft? Uh, I am assuming by commercial aircraft you're talking about airlines, the big ones. I flew the Embraer 120, the Brasilia. That was a 30 passenger regional aircraft. Uh, I think it would be, the one that I always thought would be a lot of fun would be a DC-8. But all those are cargo now. That would have been a blast. 737. If I were looking for an airline job right now, I think I'd want to fly a Southwest 737. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Let's see, the G20 worth more. I'm not sure I understand the question. That's about different aircraft. Oh, there was somebody that got hired doing aerial survey. That's another thing. Well, allergies balling in the air right now. Yeah, there's, I don't know if they're still here. There's a company out of St. Louis that does uh, aerial surveys. They take huge swaths of photos, and they do that all over the world. Um, but the only days they fly are pretty days, and they fly a grid is what they do, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm curious if everybody came over from uh, the site that I had set up that was going to look so good. I had the light for it and everything. Let's see how difficult a type rating is. You know, here's the thing about type ratings, and it really is true. In a sense, they're no difficult than any other rating that you're going to get. What makes people so anxious is that they've put so much value on it because this is such a huge step in their career. A lot of times, their first type rating. For a lot of people, the first type rating is the airlines, and they have that pressure on them also. I personally have always thought it's much easier to do a type rating ride in the actual aircraft than in the sim. And the reason for that is uh, you can only do so much in the airplane without creating an emergency. Whereas you can create the emergency in the sim and nobody's going to get hurt. Nothing's going to happen like that. Uh, so I think in the airplane, whoever is giving the type ride tends to be a little more cautious and a little more thoughtful and put more, uh, let's say, they're not just going to like do something crazy in the airplane. At least I expect. Have to go to early morning flight carrier. Oh, hey, well, Marco, appreciate you being here. I apologize again for the late start here. Yeah, it's that's a bummer. Well, thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. Um, and I have to apologize also because I don't have anything to hold the phone here, so it's going to be a little bit jerky. 14 years old. I want to be a pilot when I'm older. Okay, Shot Kiev. Good for you. Uh, and you teach me a lot. Oh, it disappeared again. I don't know how to bring back the comment. That's cool though. You know, I when I was your age, I wanted to be a pilot. That's all I wanted to be. I didn't want to grow up and do anything else. And what would be needed if you're supposed to be a pilot? Uh, uh, results to be a pilot. So I'm not sure. Are you talking about education? Is that what you're talking about? For most pilot jobs, I don't say this to denigrate pilots, but if you can count and you can read and you've got aptitude, you can do the job. There's some corporate operators that will require a degree. Most airlines require a degree. I'm not sure about the regionals. It used to be they didn't. That requirement for the degree tends to go and come back again, go away again, depending upon the need for pilots. If there is a strong need for pilots and they can't get enough qualified people with degrees, they'll waive that. Oh, soloed at 9 hours. That's good, Jordan. That's impressive. Yeah. Uh, find a good school. That is absolutely right. Okay. Hey, I was going to ask you guys. Uh, let's read this real fast. Hey, did y'all see the article in the paper about the NTSB ruling on the accident in Iowa 2 years ago? The guy that was 90 years old flying with his dog. I thought it was kind of interesting because they put up a picture of the dog in the airplane. The dog was sitting in the uh, front passenger seat with a seat belt on and a shoulder harness. Big 70-pound dog. The NTSB ruling is they think that the dog had actually interfered with the controls. And that's where the loss of control was initiated. And the accident happened in a farm field. The dog actually ended up being fine. Unfortunately, it killed the gentleman who owned the airplane who was flying. But I thought that was interesting seeing that picture of that dog in there. And, sometimes, the threat comes from someplace you don't expect it. 35 years old, want to fly commercial. I'm close to getting my prep pilot's license. It went away again. Okay, I still have a decent career. Yes, I think you do. Because if you're 35, you can get all those certificates. You can get the time before you're 40. Uh, You can fly now with the airlines till you're 25. That gives you 25 years with the airlines. Plenty of time to make a career there and make it your last job, upgrade to the left seat. Yeah, I would say so, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Aircraft for big change from running. Yes. How do I fight the anxiety of aircraft failure under your ownership? That's a tough one. Uh, I don't think, me personally, I would not buy an airplane because I would not want to deal with the headaches. I've always said the purchase price is actually the entry cost to continue to keep paying. Aircraft are expensive, inspections are expensive, parts are expensive, work is expensive on them. There's just no way around that. I wish I could help you with that. Roughly, I've got about 14,000 hours, Justin. I have flown mostly in citations. I have got thousands of hours in the 500 series, which is what is it, 8 or 9 airplanes all combined. I've got several thousand in the Encore. I've got Citation 2 time, Citation Ultra time, the Bravo, the 501, the 500. That's where most of my time would be. The next would probably be the Falcon 20. I've got a lot of Falcon 20 time, Gulfstream 2 time. I'm actually probably leaving things out. I've got 1,000 in the Citation 650. I've got about 50 in the Falcon 50. Not much there for that one. The Cirrus with the parachute, that's an interesting thing. It's a good idea, and it probably has saved people's lives. The only drawback I think with it is the fact that I think it may, with some people, uh, breed a level of overconfidence. Thinking, excuse me, I've got this ace in my back pocket here if things go badly. We had a serious accident at our airport, I guess about 3-4 years ago, and it was a loss of control right after takeoff, IFR conditions, and there was not enough time for the parachute to deploy. I'm not even sure if they attempted to do it. I don't know what the altitude is, but there is a minimum altitude for that. How do you finance jets you are flying? Did you make a bunch of money in your previous job? Oh, Kenneth, no, I'm poor. I work for other people. I've unfortunately have to trade my time for money so I can eat. I'm just a hired pilot, is what I am. I don't own an airplane. Even if I were wealthy, I think I would hesitate to spend my money on an airplane. I think what I would do is actually find a charter company I really liked and just charter. The thing about charter is it's expensive, like flying an airplane, but at the end of the day, you walk away from it. Nobody's going to be calling you and saying, "Hey, we need $14,000 for this part on the airplane," or "You're due for inspection now," or "You've got this AD now you've got to comply with." You don't have to deal with those headaches. And speaking of ADs, did you guys see where the Cirrus, what was the Cirrus jet? I wrote that down here. Uh, yeah, the SF-50. They put out an emergency AD on those things, and they were all grounded for a problem with the AOA sensor, which is really interesting since we just had that 737 AOA problem with them, and the accident that happened because the airplane was pitching down. And the article I read said that they felt like that was a possibility with the Cirrus, and that's why they did this emergency AD. Let's see. Vision Jet. Now the Vision Jet. That sounds. No, that was another one I was thinking of. Which one is the Vision Jet? How far in advance do you know my schedule? Most of the time, I know it in advance. Sometimes there's some surprise things, but most 95% of the time, it's in advance. Uh, One owner, which I've worked for 10 years, he occasionally has some stuff pop up, and he'll give me a call, ask if I got anything going on, if I could take him down to the lake in the Caravan. And, that's an 80-mile flight, 45 minutes there, 45 back. But it's not a problem. That's sad with the Max 8, but it sounds like they're getting right on it and they're making corrections to that software. Oops, okay. Tim, thanks for the Patreon. I appreciate it. Okay, I can't do a cold startup because the M2 they completed the sale and it is actually in Europe now. It is gone. Um, I think this was the last live stream I did. This subject came up, and I told people basically the reason why I did not put a full startup of the aircraft in the videos, and that's because originally when I started doing this, I was under a 12.5 security program, uh, and that's an issue because the airplane's over 12,500 pounds of turbojet, and I don't want to do anything that could possibly be construed as instruction for an aircraft of that size requiring a type rating. Because, first of all, in order to do that, whoever it is that you're instructing has to have a background check by Department of Homeland Security. So there are lots of rules and things like that. Now, the smaller aircraft, I can't think of a reason why you couldn't do that. But that one's gone now, and it's going to probably be replaced by a larger aircraft. It looks like that's probably going to end up being a Challenger, is what we're by a Challenger 300. So I apologize for that. Let's see. I know he can feed me all. Thought for instrument rating. I think that's a great one. The instrument rating is a great one to get. I don't think anybody should stop their flying career at private pilot just because even if you don't go and fly commercially, the instrument rating is just a great security blanket should you get yourself in a situation with weather that you did not expect. You could get yourself a clearance and fly out of it and have that comfort level with having the experience of flying the aircraft by the instruments. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jake. Some of them are longer and some of them are shorter. I'm trying to get on some of these that I have because I got behind. And sometimes what will happen is I'll start a video, I'll have a bunch of clips, but then realize somewhere along the way, this really is not a good story. I'm missing parts of this. And I may have to chop it up. And I could start out with 30 minutes of clips and end up with like this last one, 8 minutes. I had some problems with that one. I had some audio problems. And you probably noticed that the initial takeoff, there is no recording of the ATC. But 3 minutes into the flight, then you have it. And that was because, sadly, I forgot to turn the recorder on. Oh, well. Yeah, I agree with you about that instrument rating, 400 Romeo. Editing is the tough part. I don't mind doing it, Justin, but it takes a lot of time. It really does. And I do most of my editing. See, since I'm on my phone, I'll show you. I've got my computer there. And I was going to use this light when I started off doing this with the computer. I can't take that with me. And it's not easy to take what you're already in the process of creating and put it on my laptop. It's like once I start on the computer, I finish on the computer. Once I stop on the laptop, I finish on the laptop. That's so true. John, good to see you here. I edit with, what is the thing I use? It's, gosh, what is it? I can't think of it now. Let me see. Oh, no, I don't want to mess this up. It is Power Director 16 is what I've got. And it works for me. A lot of people have others that they use and say great things about, but this one works for me. Thank you, Evans. Appreciate that. On our tablets, we're using ForeFlight is what we're doing. We're using that for the charts. I messed around with DaVinci Resolve, and I didn't switch because of the fact that I had put in so much time into Power Director 16, or actually the Power Director series. I started, I think, with Power Director 8, and I just didn't want to relearn another one because I was ready to go with what I had. Do you fly at the service ceiling and why? Um, that's a good question. The service ceiling for the Citation Excel is 45,000 feet. Our initial cruise altitude is normally 40 to 41. We cruise there because it's an efficient flight level to fly at. And when we start going higher, we start losing our true airspeed. So we do get a fuel benefit if we continue up to 43 or 45, but we also tend to slow down a little bit. So a really long flight, yeah, would go to 43, absolutely. And we could initially go to 43 if we wanted to. Uh, but 40, 41 seems, the airplane seems to really like it there. We get a good true airspeed, which translates into, getting to your destination faster. And there's not a huge change in the fuel burn for the trip from 41 to 43,000. Up to 45. Um, if you need it, you can extend uh, your duration going up there if you need it to get to where you're going. The problem with going west into a headwind and doing that is, okay, well, yeah, you may be saving fuel by the hour, but it's taking you longer to get there, so you're also burning more fuel that way. Where that works really well is if you've got a tailwind, you pull that throttle back a little bit and really extend your range by doing that. And if you have to coming back from the West Coast nonstop, you could do that and probably pretty easily make it. We run into a problem going to the West Coast because normally we have a full load, which means we've got to leave people. Well, we have to leave fuel behind, so we've got a shorter range. Which is why a lot of times when we go to Las Vegas, we stop at Pueblo and refuel. Wow. Okay, everybody that just showed up, because we got 143 people here. We're about 30 minutes into it. I want to thank everybody. I was doing the live stream on the computer, but had a problem. So I had to shift to my backup comms here on the phone and do the live stream on that. I'm going to get that problem worked out before I do this again. If this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because I do a kind of a vlogging type of video for pilots. I'm a professional pilot, fly around the country and make videos of that, of the flying, what we do, what we have for lunch, burgers. If it's a really pretty burger, if I can hold back for a couple of minutes before jumping right into it, I'll put that in my video. And I'm on Instagram also. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. If you're not aware of that, you may want to check that out. That flight sim dude, appreciate it. Thank you very much. CFL Arrow, how often do you live stream? I am still working on this. I would like to do it 3 to 4 times a month. What I would really like to do, and that's kind of what I'm trying to work towards here, I've got to learn how to do this and make it more seamless, more professional. I would like to put up one of my videos and then later that day or the next day do a live stream where if anybody had questions about the videos, we could talk about the video and I could answer those, that type of thing, and also answer questions about training and flying and or anything else. I do other things than fly. I make flying videos. No, but we do other stuff. We go out camping. We have bikes, go biking and travel and stuff like that. Highest I've ever flown, I think, was 49,000 feet. Yeah. And that was, let me think about this. I can't remember if that was the Citation 3 or we, for a very short period of time, had a Falcon 50 with a mod that allowed it to go higher. But I think that was actually the 3 that we did that in. We were no passengers. We were light and wanted to extend our range, the fuel, and we went up there. It's been a long time though. Most people don't go up there like people flying the Citation 3, 6, and 7 because the airplane, even though it'll go there, it doesn't really like flying there. You know, um, true airspeed drops. Yeah, the fuel consumption drops, like I said earlier, but you've got a higher deck angle. It really slows down in the climb up there. Oh, well, thanks, Luigi. Appreciate that. Hey, I have no problem with Tim Hortons coffee or McDonald's or any of that at all. I am not a connoisseur of I love coffee, but I'm not a connoisseur of it. Except for I like my coffee black. I'm not a sugar guy in my coffee, not a cream guy or any of the other things. I just like it straight. Yeah. So is everybody ready for the Easter holiday today? It's beautiful here. It's been raining for days though, and it is still really chilly, but I'll show you out here. It's just beautiful out there. Yeah. Yeah, all the trees are blooming, all that stuff. Okay. Ted, that's a good question. I have only had one passenger ask me not to do uh, recordings, but it was only on certain trips. Uh, and that's because there were business things going on, and they were going to meetings, and they did not want it known that they were trying to, open a business someplace else in another town. And that was just a temporary thing for the specific trip. Other than that, you know, nobody has said anything. But I don't make the videos are not of them. I think if I were making videos of them, then it would be a big issue type thing. Uh, and so I just turn on the GoPros for the flight part. But now here is something that can become a problem. Every now and then, the camera will start picking up audio from the back. And so I'm very careful about that. So sometimes you will get videos where you don't have the audio of the flying part because that would not be appropriate for that. But normally that's not an issue. In fact, I'll tell you how all this happened. This was a very slow thing. I mean, I started 10 years ago making videos, and it was with an old, camera, 360 by 240 resolution, and I just put it on top of the glare shield to catch the landing. I put it on YouTube, and I'd tell the people I flew with, "Oh yeah, I put up a video. You need to go see it." Nobody'd go see it. So, I got a little better, put up some family vacations. I say, "Oh yeah, you need to go see my videos." Nobody would see them. Didn't want to see them. So then, I'd start, take an instrument panel video, put that up. Nobody'd go see it. And over the years, it kind of got better and better and grew, and more people followed it. And then one day it was like, oh my gosh, have you seen his videos? He's really making videos. Well, yeah, I've been trying to tell you guys for years, you got to go see my videos. And it was funny because it was like the passengers saw them first. Um, I did a trip, and this is really funny. I did a trip uh, and stepped on the airplane, and they were hollering all sorts of stuff about the fact that I was on YouTube and Instagram. And they found out about it because one of the passengers had a picture taken with me in front of the airplane and was showing it to a friend. And the friend said, "That's Captain Moonbeam." And this person said, "What? What? Who's that?" He said, "Yeah, he's on YouTube." And so that person went back and told everybody, and they looked and it was like, "Oh my God." Well, yeah, yeah. So it wasn't like I was being sneaky or anything like that. I was very open about it. It just, nobody watched, nobody looked. How it is, a prophet in his own town, That's okay. I don't mind. I understand. Now, let's see. Have you ever been interrogated or asked to stop recording an FBO? Other than the time they threw me up against the wall, that no. I have had one time where I got challenged by somebody in an airport, and it was really kind of funny because what I was doing was I was actually taking video of this mosaic. This was an international airport. This mosaic on the ground that I thought looked kind of cool. And that's when this official individual actually came up to me and challenged me. And I turned around and he said basically, "Why are you taking video?" I said, "I take video of every trip I make." He said, "Why were you recording video of the doors?" I'm like, "What?" And I realized I needed to be careful, so I, was very polite. No, I was actually taking a video of, I was about to get on this thing and go, and I make a recording of my trip through the day and put it on YouTube. And once I explained what I was doing, he was okay with that. It was a surprise. I didn't quite expect it, especially since, you see, and he had seen I had it up and then moved down and was recording the mosaic. And when it was up, it was the door, and I was about to go through it. But it's just one of those things. That's just part of it. You can't get upset. And if somebody were to ask me to stop taking video, I would. Doesn't matter. I can always take video of something else. Okay. All right. You have got over 38,000 subscriptions. That has to tell you something. Yes, it tells me there are a lot of really bored people out there. No, I'm just kidding. I really appreciate it. I tell you what, and this makes me think of this. When I was learning how to fly, oh my gosh, if there had been something like the internet where I could watch videos like this and learn things and talk to people about the questions I had and what the job was like and things you could do. So this would have been amazing. This is a game changer. It really is, to have this kind of access to people and be able to ask questions and to watch the videos and get those answers. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I watch other people's videos and really enjoy them. What has happened, and this is really substantial, is the gatekeepers that used to be there have been bypassed. Oh, slightly average, thanks. I appreciate that. Thoughts on JetLinks 37 learning to fly right now? I don't know anything about JetLinks, so I couldn't really tell you about that. But cool, man. Go for it. Go for it. He just dropped something into the, I think it dinged on here. Yeah. But I do appreciate that he bought me a cup of coffee there. So where did the gatekeepers. So basically, the gatekeepers have been bypassed, because if I had said that I wanted to, went up to a local TV station and said, "Hey, I want to put my movies I'm making of my daily flights as a corporate pilot, because I think there are people who would really like that and get something out of it," they would have laughed at me. They would have said, "Oh, yeah, you check back with us in about 15 years, something like that." But that's not it now. That's not the case. You have an interest, and it's right there. You can pursue it, and you can share it with people also. Oh, what I was going to say before I just want to throw this in there again. If you're a first-time viewer, I've got a bunch of videos up on the Captmoonbeam channel. Basically, it's corporate pilot stuff and some other things. I've got some cruises and stuff. But feel free to subscribe and follow me. I've put up lots of videos. There's lots of stuff up there. And I want to try to do these live streams on a weekly basis, like I said. But I got to get the difficulties worked out here. Thanks, Marco. I appreciate that. Captain Cruise Beam. That's right. It's been a while since we've been on a cruise. You got to save your money up for that. Thanks, Awash. I appreciate that. Oh, there's somebody from when I was 10,000. Let's see. Let me quick. Currently working on my instrument ticket. Eventually want to get into corporate charter flying. Any tips or suggestions? This is a common question, Scott, and the answer is always the same. The type of flying you want to do, you need to make friends with those kinds of people. Get to know them. I have never gotten a job, and I've had a lot of jobs. I've never gotten one from a ad somewhere. It has always been through word of mouth. And most of the people I know, that's how they got their jobs also, especially in the corporate and the private sector. Because most flight departments are not large at all. They're very small, just one little office in an airport somewhere, one Citation jet or something like that. And of course, if you want to go into the airlines, you need to know people in the airlines because having a recommendation from a pilot there actually carries some weight. And they can tell you when the hiring's going to open up, keep you informed. Okay, CFL Aero, good to see you. Have a great weekend. Enjoyed having you here. Well, my questions away. Virtual corporate pilot, fly Lear 35A, Cessna Citation 510, Mustang, all in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've never flown a Lear. I think that would be a lot of fun. That seems to be seems to be a great airplane, but that has not been part of my career. And when I was learning how to fly, this was a long time ago. That was the Microsoft Flight Simulator, the first one. Oh, I thought that was the coolest thing. I was just flying that thing all over the place. That little 172 with the pixeled graphics and stuff like that. Jordan Sutherland, how you doing? Oh, he's looking for Mike. No, Mike's not here. He's out enjoying his uh, day here. He called me. What did he say? He called me day before yesterday. It was beautiful weather in the evening, and he was out on his bike. Oh, not his bike, out on his deck enjoying a glass of wine. Wanted to know if I was on my deck. I said, no, I'm doing something else here. I'm working on a video. All right, so see, all my comments disappear after one puts them there. Okay. Yeah, to Quebec is sold. It is gone. Oh, and Jet Cruiser 007, thanks. I appreciate that. Mike Stradling, thank you so much. Uh, yeah, I hated to see it go to. I liked that. I liked it because the XLS is actually an upgraded version of the XL. And it was a very nice airplane, but it only had 8 seats. And this one was coming off lease. It had 9 seats. That's exactly what we needed because we were doing some trips where the ninth person would be going on the airlines. So we needed the ninth seat. All right, let's see who else is here. We got 161 now. Oh, they just keep rolling in here. All these people on this beautiful Friday. I was going to tell you, I had a trip to Teterboro earlier in the week, and it was a pretty day, but the winds were ferocious. From once we descended below it was below 10,000, we had pretty much constant turbulence, and below 2,000, it was wind shear. I mean, it was just furious out there, the wind. And we had to do the ILS to runway 19, circle to 24. And we talked about the briefing. This is a circle. We've got the wind shear conditions, the winds, and all of that. We've got a strong crosswind for landing on the runway, very gusty. And what came to mind was that accident with, I think it was a Lear a couple of years ago. They were coming from the other direction though. Strong gusty winds, wind shear reported. They were doing the ILS to 1, coming up from the south, circle to no, it was the ILS to 6, circle to runway 1. And they got behind it, and they cranked and banked, and I think they probably got hit by a wind shear or something, stalled it, and it went right down into a office parking lot. But what really stood out was I saw those surveillance pictures of that thing right before it hit. It was, really disturbing there. Wow. Oh, this is why I'm missing some comments. Let me scroll through here real fast. Oh, okay, guys, sorry I missed everybody rolling in here. Ever fly to Hawaii? No, but there has been a little bit of discussion of that if we get a new airplane. So, yeah, Lear 45 Teterboro. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about there. Did I ever get nervous during my early days of training? Yes. You know what? And it wasn't so much the flying, it was check ride anxiety. The anxiety of taking that first check ride with the examiner, somebody you've never met before, and now you're going to go out and do all this stuff, do stalls and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think that most people do. That's real common. Let's see. Yeah, Wash, what a Wash says here is so true. He says the one thing you can't do in a jet, if you get behind the jet, that's it. It's a deadly mistake. Do not get behind the airplane. You want to stay in front of it. You want to be thinking ahead of the airplane. You want to be flying ahead of it. You don't want to be reacting to what the airplane's doing. Always be planning ahead what you're going to do, anticipating. And the thing is, when you start flying, let's say you're flying a 152 training, you learn how to do that because you're anticipating the next turn in the pattern, pulling your speed back, you're planning all along the way. And then as you move up into bigger airplanes like a Bonanza, high performance single engine, or a Baron, now they're higher speeds. So you have to put yourself a little further ahead and you start thinking ahead a little faster till you get to jets. Jets can go very fast, 450 miles an hour or something like that. But you can't be intimidated by it either, because what you need to remember is normally where you're doing those really high speeds, it's up high and you're en route. That's totally different. Once you get into the terminal area, you can actually slow it down to comparable speeds, of a Baron or something like that. For some jets, not all of them. It depends on the aircraft you're flying. But for the straight wing Citations, you get into the terminal area, you can slow it down. If it's getting ahead of you, slow it down. You can slow things down. You can't slow it down too much, but you can adjust it, is what you can do. Let's see what we got here. Citation Mustang. Yeah, slow it down to 91 knots. The Mustang you can really slow down. Brisbane, Australia. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Niles, Michigan. Do you have any significant mentors? I would have to say, very early in my career, my father-in-law, who was a commercial pilot, was. And after that, I can't think of anybody that really stands out other than I had developed friends that were also in the industry. And there were probably people that were mentors, but we were also friends also that were very helpful. And that's something that just comes naturally after you start doing it, when you start sharing these experiences with other people. Crazy tips for fearful flyers from Patrick. Are you talking about the passengers? Because I don't really have any passengers tips to make them feel safe other than, hey, don't worry, it's airplanes hardly ever crash and stuff like that. People that are fearful of it, your passengers, it is really hard to reassure them. And I tell you one thing they hate, absolutely hate, is you jerking the airplane around. If you can give them a smooth ride, they will really appreciate that. That is important. Yeah, because I have flown with people in the past who were not very cognizant of that. I'm not even sure they even cared, and would just jerk the airplane all over, and that is not good. It's not necessary unless you're about to hit somebody. Yeah, Dave, I would have to say that. I've read that also, and yeah, that was an unfortunate accident. It really was. Have you always made a living as an aviator? No, no. I worked in retail. I worked in restaurants. Gosh, I'd always had a job since I was very young, probably since I was 14, you know. Uh, and then before that, I was mowing lawns and, different things like that, selling stuff. Well, well, John, don't tell her how fast you're going if it freaks her out. Uh, yeah, but I don't understand why people would get so worried about that, because if you're in a car going 60 miles an hour and if you hit a wall, I mean the results are the same. Whether you hit something in the airplane or you hit a car at 6 miles an hour, that's it. Um, I think for a lot of people, it's the fact that they have no control. I think the lack of control is probably the biggest factor there, creating anxiety. Well, as far as saying if the airplane are coming home, it's two things. First of all, is there a possibility that things will change and we'll need to leave? And which is cheaper? Is it cheaper for us to stay there, or is it cheaper for us to come back on the airlines? And then again, we also think, is it cheaper to bring the airplane back or to leave it there? So we have to kind of look at the overall cost and decide which is best. Is this normal? No, this is not. On my phone here, I'm normally doing it on the computer, but I had a software problem and so I had people waiting, and I immediately shifted to the phone, is what I did. Uh, that was my backup plan. Actually, it wasn't a plan at all. I just pulled that one out of my posterior there. New technologies. Well, that's a good question. Will pilots be replaced by computers? For some jobs, I think they will, and they are already being replaced for some things. For flying people, I think for the most part, no. But I think what you'll do is start seeing more single pilot operations. I think that eventually will become the norm, but it's going to take some time. Let's see. Hey, Benjamin, good to see you. Well, there is a whole list of requirements for making an aircraft single pilot, Benjamin. I can't even remember what they are, but it's things like the complexity of the aircraft, uh, the workload for the pilot, the side of the airplane that the gear handle is on for retracting and lowering the gear. It needs to be in front of the pilot. If you look at the M2, the way the M2, see, the M2 was originally, the Citation CJ, was designed as a single pilot airplane. And you'll notice that everything of consequence in for equipment, for switches, is all on the left side. Even the handle for the gear is on the left side. And I think there is a weight restriction also, but I don't know what it is. The CJ4, I think, is a 16,000 pound airplane, and that's single pilot. So that's pretty big. I couldn't tell you all of them. Let's see if I can. Hello, Bart. How you doing? Well, Bart, as far as flying other passengers around, we're not 135. We're not doing charter, so that's not an issue. There's another partner, but what they tend to do is they block the airplane off, and their agreement is that whoever has it at that time has it the whole time. We do sometimes, if there's a big break, work something out where we may come back, pick somebody up, and then take them somewhere. We'll do that. Billy Ray, thanks. Wow. Wow, that is very kind and generous of you. Uh, and I was live streaming, so I canceled my. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you canceled your reservation, man. Oh, oh, wow. But thanks, I really appreciate that, Billy Ray. And none of my kids have expressed an interest in it. I had one kid indirectly express an interest in helicopters, and he was in the military, and his unit, he had to go into an aviation unit. He was in the Army, and they would not let him out of his unit because they had a shortage of that position that he was in. And but then so nothing ever really came of it. I don't know how much he was really interested in that. So, any famous people I have flown with? Bum, bum, bum. I've flown some politicians, congressmen, and senators. None of the names come up right now I can think of over the years. When I was in Arkansas, I worked for a charter company, and we flew a lot of Arkansas politicians back then. The governor and people like that. Flew the governor of Missouri, one of the governors, because, it switches out, it changes. Favorite airline to fly on? Southwest, definitely Southwest. This is funny. People ask me this all the time. What's the most dangerous situation you've been in flying? And I won't be able to think of anything. And then it's like a couple of days later, it'll be like, oh, I should have talked about this. Uh, because I'm not the kind of person where when something like that happens, I just sit around and dwell on it like, oh my gosh, we were seconds from dying. And actually, I don't think I fly with anybody like that. No, it'd be more like laughing about it, 2 minutes later and thinking, oh boy, thanks for saving my bacon, Mike. I appreciate that, Yeah, let me buy you a beer, that kind of thing. 20, or 20, yeah, not much has changed as far as that in the last 20 years, but they've been working on this pilotless automation. It is not going to stop. I guarantee you, Airbus is working on it, Boeing's working on it, the airlines are pushing it. So there's a lot of motivation there. There really is. They're going to get it eventually. Maybe not pilotless, but I guarantee you they're going to try to get down to one and save that money. Any networking tips for a noob? Just go out and meet people, say hello, and talk airplanes with them. You know, uh, be you know nice to people, and see if you can't make some friendships with pilots at the local airport. All right, I'm gonna have to stop in about 5 minutes. The dinner's almost ready. 25th anniversary as a licensed pilot. Congratulations, Grill Master. Ah, well, thanks. I appreciate that. I do. Yeah. I hope you're going to have another 25 flying. I think a lot of people feel the same way, Mike, about pilotless airplanes. That's why I say that they'll get it down to one. I don't see it going to zero. But 30 years from now, who's to say? 30 years ago, there's no way I would have said, "Oh yeah, I'll be talking to what is it, 150 people on my phone, and they'll be seeing me all over the world." That was just science fiction. So what we're really talking about is the future, science fiction. A variation of the future, which may very well happen if you look at where everything is going. Have you ever wanted by your both? Okay, love your videos. Have you ever been wanted by both your charters at the same day? Okay, when I used to fly charter, I had days sometimes where I would finish one trip and start another one. And occasionally the owners will have one trip end, and we'll do a quick turnaround, and 45 minutes later we're back out with another group. But they're pretty good at working with each other. I mean, they understand it's going to take its time to take care of them, get them out, clean up the airplane, refuel them back out. And for the most part, they've all worked with each other to make sure that it actually works, which you have to do if you're in a partnership like this with an airplane. That's important. Oh, professional filmmaker. Well, thanks. I really appreciate that. Uh, I think I'm just a natural. 90% of what I do, 95% is on my phone, and I just pull my phone out as I'm there and make a clip, and try to make a bunch of clips on the day that I've decided I'm going to make a video, and then I edit it. Uh, but thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That was very kind of you, Albert. I appreciate it. Yeah, Maxwell Smart. I used to watch Maxwell Smart as a kid. I loved that show. Festus, Missouri. And I've never landed there. I've driven through there. Let's see. Favorite place for a 2-day layover. I don't think I have an absolute favorite. Uh, Now, I think 3 days are the best because you fly out, you've got a whole day to do something, and you leave the next day. Uh, I think Las Vegas is interesting. I think West Coast, like Van Nuys, places like that, San Francisco are interesting. Going to Teterboro if I've got a 3-day trip. In fact, we just did. It was supposed to be a 3-day trip. I had plans to go into Manhattan and make a video, but the trip got cut short, and I ended up not having half of what I needed. So I didn't do that. But I do like visiting there. I like visiting Florida. The interesting thing is the places that I visit, I probably wouldn't want to live there. I find them interesting, but I like living places with, I like the Midwest. 7 years of ATC. Well, that's a tough job right there. That has got to be one of the most stressful jobs in the world. I couldn't even imagine that. That's Willie. 7 years trying to, you think? That's a good question. Are they better or worse or the same? Hmm. Well, I don't think they're worse. Um, I think they're probably a little bit better, is what I would say. That's my feeling. Okay, it's been an hour. It's my wife's just about finishing dinner here. I tell you what, I got to go. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you subscribing to me, and I appreciate your patience with this live stream. That the whole setup did not go very well, but I'll get that worked out next time.